Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Diko Graphic Design Training. I believe we're doing great today. Today, let me teach you how you can make a professional party flyer on your Android smartphone using your smartphone. As you all know that the PixelLab cannot blend any objects or whatsoever, but there are some tricks that we can make use of this. So I want to show you step by steps how you can make a simple petty flyer without any stress. So that 10 minutes we should be done with this. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. Set your background size to square size, which is 1024 by 1024. This is what we call a square size or custom size. After getting that, then I have all the elements which I want to use. Take it for instance, I will heading back to where I have my element. So I want to use this picture. I just came across it online and it was so interesting. But the beauty part, the funny part of it is that you can see all this body. How can I place a text there and it will be obvious? Hopefully it can't, but what I want to do is to do a kind of a blending, but PixelLab cannot blend. So I have all this. What I did is this: I tap on the sticker, then you see this white particle stuff will come out. Then when you tap empty area, it will stay. Then I combine many of these towards the edge, then give it a color to form what I'm going to blend. Let me show you. So I form this with that shape, and as you can see, I give it a gradient color just to cover some parts. And why? You can see I can place a text around this to make it obvious. You can see that is the essence. So after that, what I did next is that I have one particular shape, which I crop, and I've already used it before. So I decided to use it and bend it towards the teeth here, okay, to make it okay. But I'm not really sure with the color, so I want to change the color to something else. So take it for instance, I will change the color to this, so which I believe it will be obvious. So when I change the color to this, I will look at it whether or I can form another one. And how can I do that? Just trace this one, very simple. Then you rotate. When you rotate it, just make sure you rotate it to exact spot which you want it to be. Then crop it. When you crop, just go to opacity and you enable the transparency. So when you do that, the next thing we need to do is just to go to the color, change the color right to black or wherever. After you are able to do that, don't do anything yet, just cut it out. So I'm going to position one here, then I will copy, position another one here. So when I'm able to do that, I will tap the main object which I want to cut out, enable it for it to show clearly, then you merge the three together. So that one can give me an avenue to cut out some parts. So after cutting it out, you can remove the one you imported before. Then when you are able to do that, go there and give it a red gradient color which I used before. And to make it real okay, you can just position this here, okay, and you have your what? You have your shape. But one thing that I want us to notice here, you can see it that this is very not really obvious. So what can we do? I can have this color being tampered with, just as to make it not to be too reddish, so that it will not be balanced with the background and it will be obvious. Then after doing that, then you go and add the shadow. Your blur, let it be 6. Then bring this one down a little bit. Then tap on the plus sign and you bring the thickness, so that it will be lighter. But you have to bring it out more so that it will show. Then the blur radius can still be applied, but not as much as you think. Then you bring this one towards here. Just make sure that the thing is floating, not really balanced with the background. So when you are able to do that, just lock it and you are done with that. The next thing we still need to treat with is this. Just go back to the shape, type what we call divas. So we have what we call a divas, and you go to the font. When you go to the font, you just use Archivo black regular. Then you increase the size, go to the B, then you are going to tap italize, just italize it. Then you go to the padding and make sure that all the text are shown. After that, the next thing you can still do is to make sure that the space in between are closed, and it has to be double. Okay, just close the space. And what are we going to do next after that has been closed? Not necessary. So we are going to just rotate this a little bit as well, but not as much as that. Okay, so which means we can position this here. So you send this to the back anyway. So when you send it to the back, you can see how it's displaying. So what we just need to do next is to increase the size while we position this. But we have to make sure that this is positioned, let's say, around here, not exceeding the teeth. So let's say we position it here. So when you are able to position it here, don't let it come out anyway, but I guess it can be around here. So when you have it there, just go to rotation and you rotate it, let it come down while you position this here. And I guess this is cool. So after you are able to bring that one down, we can now bring this. It depends on the arrangement, but you can tap from this idea anyway. Rotate this. Okay, bring it down. So when you are able to do that, then the next thing you will do is to make it okay. You have to change the color to color red. That is my own assignment. So change it to red. Then you have to copy the color, because you might be wondering, how are we going to place that here? So you change it to this color. Then you are going to position it. But the one you place at the bottom, you have to apply shadow to make it stand out, and it will not rest on the picture that we use as a background. So the color will be very different. Okay, then you are going to adjust a little bit, just as perfect as this, and you make the drop down offset Y to be 6. So the opacity should be 26, blur radius to be 7, or increase a little bit. After you are able to do that, then you are good to go. You can now position this, position it here. So what is the essence? We just want a little red, touch of red to be appearing at the back of this color at the top. So when you are able to do that, you send this to the back so that it be on top. Then you add a little shadow, a little one. Okay, a little shadow. So when you are able to do that, and let there be drop shadow a little bit, just like 2, and this is cool. You can see we are not blending, but we are making sense with what you are doing. Then you go to the editing text area. Right, today is Tuesday. 2 is there, Tuesday. Okay, you check, you're on point. But to see, let's say we say Tuesday. 2 is there, 2 is there. We don't even know. This thing is confusing anyway. 2 is there. 2 is there. Okay, this is the correct spelling. 2 is there. So I'm trying to show you tricks. So today is Tuesday. You make this. Then you change the color to, let's say, we want to change the color to, let's say, Sigos. So when you change it to Sigos, but it's too scattered, not as perfect. So we can use for, let's look at Choplin. What about the Chaplin is there? Ratios, not okay. Alora, not okay. I want the one that will stand out. What about the font free? Font free could be the best here. So we are going to position that here without cross matching, so that it will fit in at that particular area. And when we position it here, we are not applying or do anything to it. We are positioning it directly. But before we go further, we can change this. Only club presents. Okay, so we have a font, only club presents. Okay, So change the font to Matizera. We have a font called Matizera font, the bold one. So where we are going to rotate this, so rotate it and position it here. Have it rotated. So reduce the size a little bit if you want. Reduce the size, and after even reducing the size, we can reduce how big and how this be. So you can tap on it to unlock. While you are going to reduce the size by doing this, so you position it around here. So when you are able to do that, you rotate a little bit. Remember, you have already adjusted. So when you do that, you now position this here. So you can see this is actually work. Okay, very good, very good. So now that we have that one being set, you can lock it back and everything. Let it return to the normal stuff. So then what we need to do next, crop a shape, position it around here, let it be closer a little bit, and after that increase the size. Make sure that you justify. After justification, what you need to do next, we are going to, you might not make it to be as big as this, but I guess this is cool. Or you position it around here while you are shifting this to be around here. Okay, then you are going to reduce by cropping, reposition. So after that, go to the color, change it to red automatically. So when you are able to do that, or you cross check very well, so what we are going to do next, you make sure that this one is darker. So we go to the color, just tap on the plus sign and make this one to be more darker. Okay, make it to be more darker. Okay, very good. So the color is well set up and well mixed like this. So what we need to do next, we need to give a breathing space in between this particular area. Okay, very good. So you can go to the text area. When you get to the text area, so what you need to do next is to put in all your write-up. So we have what we call a free drink. When you have a free drink, there should be a kind of a dot. Then we have what we call an entry. So when you have an entry, how much is the entry? Let's say $5. So we have a dot, then a little space, then we have a free parking, just a kind of for teaching or for training sake. So when you do that, we have a font called Bieber's font, but we are going to use a lighter one so that we position in our hierarchy properly. So you reduce the size, and when you reduce the size, what you are going to do next, you are going to position this and bring this one back down so that it can take it properly. So when you look at it very well, this is cool. So the next thing is to give a space in between the alphabets, just as perfect as this, and after that go to the relative position and position it to the center. So when you do that, go to the shape as well, make sure you justify with it, and everything will seem to be plumb, just as perfect as this. After you're able to do that, this color should be changed to, let's say, something like a gold. Okay, we have this, and it can still be adjusted a little bit. So now we have the cool one. So after that has been done, then the next thing we need to do, we are going to bring in the let's say we bring the sponsor logo anyway. So I'm going to apply the sponsor logo, and the sponsor logo will be around here. So add the sponsor logo could be the best, and we can bring that one down a little bit, or we shift the Tuesday a little bit up. So shift Tuesday a little bit up. While you merge this together, bring it up a bit. So after that, this one will have a place to stay. Okay, very good. So after that has been done, we can now position this around here, and this is cool. So the next thing we need to do now, we are going to merge this together, merge everything together. The only collab should be merged, everything should be merged together, excluding the bottom one, so that we shift it up a little bit. After shifting, then the next thing we need to do is to deal with this particular shape. So and how can we do that? Position this to the center. Okay, so when you position to the center, you should be able to deal with it normally, and bring this one down a bit so that I can take a text, and you are going to lock everything. So when you get here, what you need to do next, after locking the whole stuff, you can go to the PixelLab, copy the text, and you change it to, let's say, sponsor. Change it to sponsor. So when you change that to sponsors, then you click OK. Now you can bring this one down, reduce the size to your own text, where it can fit in around this place. Okay, so after that, position it well. Okay, perfect. Now that we are able to have this, and let there be space so that it will be obvious. Okay, good. Okay, good. So the next thing we need to do is to copy the same text. While we have our special guest, then we can now go to the text area. Getting to our text area, let's say we have DJ Nice. Then you go to the font. Getting to the font, you can use your Biba that is bold if you have it. So let's use a Biba bold one. So we can select that, and we have the position under this. Okay, that is DJ. The DJ should be DJ Nicer, just for teaching sake, and we are going to justify that without issue. Okay, perfect. Then the next thing is to change the color to this. We are giving it 2 color, so this color has to be changed by tapping something like a goat. Okay, so tap anywhere here. So when you tap that, you can give something like a goat like this, or we make it more sharp. So let's check. Okay, very good. So we can position that around here. So we have what we call the genizer. And the next thing we need to do after the special guest, we are going to copy this particular one. And after copy, we have to put the date. Let's say 13th Allen Avenue. Okay, Allen Avenue, kilometer 2. Okay, kilometer 2, Lagos State. Okay, perfect. So we can now say slash, put our phone number, www.onlyclub.com. So now everything has to be in cap. Then you are going to move it and position it under this Only Club, I think 13 Allen Avenue, kilometer 2, Lagos. Should be in full, Lagos State, then kilometer 2. So the size can be increased, and the space can be reduced. So we are going to reduce the space by cover the space. So even if you are giving a space, let's say something like 7, while we are going to increase this, position this to the center, and this is cool, right? So now the logo we are going to use, so we have Only Club. So the first thing we need to do before that, copy this, and you have what we call hosted by. So when you have that, you are going to position that here, but the space in between should be covered. So when you do that, position this here. While you go to letter B, then you italize this, go to the color, change the color to gradient of this, and you have what we call the name. The name we are going to use both. Let's say Lizzie J. Okay, Lizzie Jarur. lazy Jaru. Then we go to the font, have what we call let's use Montezera, or we use Montezera, the bold one. Okay, we use the Montezera, the bold one. So we use this, and when you come here, we are going to reduce the size very well. The space in between it should be close a bit, and we automatically using the position arrow to position it perfectly around there, and this is cool. So after that has been done, one thing is missing which we need to fix. And what are the things? Let's shift this one, do the arrangement properly. So after position that here, then the next thing we need to do is to go and type anything. Go to the font and use a word-based font. So you can select any one that you want here. So let's start from letter L. So start from letter L, we have this particular one. And when you have this particular logo, this logo called word-based fonts. So when you have word-based font, when you type any alphabet, it will give you a logo. And if you have the logo, you can now adjust it. Like for instance, I want to use this logo called NAS. Okay, and that NAS, I have to even manipulate the logo very well so that it won't resemble any logo. Okay, and instead of me to even use NAS, I can use out one so that we use ASA logo that will be in form of ASA. Okay, very good. So when I use ASA like this, it won't reform or be like copy of anything, and that will be around there. Okay, perfect. And when you look at it, it signifies or more presentable. Then let this one be aligned properly while you have this stuff being changed if you want. Okay, but I prefer to let it be like that. Why the other one, or I change it. When I change, the other one will be why. So what is the next thing to do? I want to do something. Okay, I want to have this my barcode. So what am I going to do next? I will screenshot. So when I screenshot it, I will have it position, crop very well, crop well, crop well. I don't want it to have any lay background. After that, adjust it properly, then adjust this one properly as well, then you click saved. So now you can come back, go in there and import it, what you just screenshot, then you import it here. So when you import, since you already have an overlay, so you are going to manipulate and position it around there to serve and make everything cool the way it's supposed to be. So the next thing we need to do after this has been set, I need many things to be run here. So like the letter hosted by, I don't need that. I don't need this. The genizer and special guest, I need this. So I have to adjust this one to be at the center. So that is my issue now. And how can I adjust that? We have hosted by the genizer, special, and this. So I will manually adjust and shift them at once, because remember, you have something at the top to make it look okay. So everything seems to be okay now. So the next thing we need to do to make it better, to finish everything, we need to go to the shape, have your shape to be like this, and you change the color to red. So when you change the color to red, reduce the size, have it position around corner like this. When you position that, you can shift it down a little bit, depends on your choice. So but make sure that you manage to position it at that angle. Now go back to the text, have your text. What is the age range? Let's say 18 plus. Mine is 18 plus. Then I will go back to the font type. Then I want to use a big and long font called a Bibas font. Then after that has been set, I will quickly run and move it, have it position around here. If possible, I can close the alphabet if the space is not occupied are allowing them to stay. Then look at it. This is actually cool. Then to put a finishing touch to that, I can rotate it a little bit so that it can still be noticeable and it will call for attention. And this is cool. Okay, and this is the end of everything. Now the Tuesday need to add some effect into it to make it look awesome. So I'm going to add the shadow so that it will not just rely and rest on divas. It can be able to stand on its own and form what the message I'm passing across. So you can enable this. While you enable this, you go to the plus sign, then you reduce this toward the end, so you should be able to see some kind of a sticker around that level. So when you're able to see that and everything seems to be plumb, so the next thing we need to do, I need to add a touch. So click on sticker, rotate it and look for all these light effects that can actually show. So I'm going to position this here, or position this. You can rotate. I don't want the one that will fling. If I say blue, it can't go with it. But what about this? Can this go? It can't go with it. But what about, I think, guess this should be able to go. So we just look at where we want to position this to make it okay. And I believe one last something. That one come along with the PixelLab I'm using. And I believe one learn something from here. Please don't forget to practice. Practice will make you more perfect. And don't forget to learn more. Having a boss that will show you where is one of the best while you are learning and improve yourself. So make sure you save with Ultra, save with PNG. There's more to this in terms of my design. After this, I've done the basic and preliminary aspects. So I will take it to where I'm going to improve the color more. And when the color come out, you will discover that you is this kind of a design, this person design, that one differentiates you from other designer. That's his uniqueness. So thanks for watching once again. God bless you.